Peace and love, my friends. Thanks for being here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Henri Nouwen. Before we begin, he's the subject of our little talk this morning. He taught at Yale, which is where I first encountered him. Only I encountered him in absentia because he had left before I arrived that summer, unbeknownst to me, and eventually ended up at Harvard. But before his death, he published 39 books, authored hundreds of articles, and his books sold over 7 million copies worldwide in, I think, like 30 different languages. He was quite the powerhouse of mysticism and in a practical way, in a very lived experience sort of way. Yeah, he was an academic and he spent most of his time in universities. I think he started out at Notre Dame. Um, but he had a deep interior life. And he wrote this book called The Wounded Healer, which I read one day. And this is from The Wounded Healer. Nobody escapes being wounded. Nobody escapes being wounded. We are all wounded people, whether physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. The main question is not, how can we hide our wounds so we don't have to be embarrassed, but how can we put our weaknesses, our woundedness, in the service of others? When our wounds cease to become a source of shame and become a source of healing, we have become wounded healers. When our wounds cease to become a source of shame and become a source of healing for us and for others, we have become wounded healers. The universality of wounds unites humanity and our shared fragility, breaking the illusion that anyone is exempt from suffering. Anyone is exempt from suffering. I saw this in my first NDE. No one is exempt. Nouwen challenges the tendencies to hide our wounds out of embarrassment, a behavior rooted in the fear of judgment or rejection. Heck, shame is a judgment of self. It's shame. These fears rooted in judgment or rejection. When I was in the center of the eye of the divine, when I was dead, I felt shame for my actions. I wasn't judged. I judged myself. And in accepting the light and love on offer, my shame vanished. And not only did I become healed, I became the healer because I was connected with the divine. The healer became the healed who came from the wounds. Instead, Nouwen shifts the focus from hiding ourselves, which is what I was trying to do in my NDE. I took my shame, I tried to hide it from the light that was looking at me and seeing all of me. And in the moment of my hiding, I entered into that hell that I've talked about. Nouwen shifts the focus from hiding to transforming our wounds into tools for connection and compassion. When wounds are no longer a source of our shame, they become pathways of empathy. I've been through that too, brother. Ah, sister, I know what you're talking about. And healing. By owning our pain and sharing it constructively, we move from being victims to healers, healers of others, healers of ourselves. This transformation isn't just for us, of course. It's also on offer to others. It shifts us from shame to becoming an archetype. Yeah, an archetype. The wounded healer. The wounded healer archetype stems from spiritual and psychological traditions. Those who faced and worked through their pain are uniquely equipped to guide others through theirs. Sharing our wounds in service of others creates the sacred alchemy, turning suffering into healing energy. In daily life, this might mean using our struggles to foster understanding, support, and growth for others. For example, someone recovering from grief could guide others through the same loss. Or a person who overcame addiction can best mentor those facing similar challenges. Nouwen's message is a call to courage and an invitation to transformation. It means embracing vulnerability and authentic sharing of our stories can lead to these deeper connections and collective healing. That's why support groups work. For communities like Not Church, us, this aligns with the idea of mysticism, using personal experiences as a bridge to universal truths and higher service. The universal truth part is what happens at Mystic Tea Salon every week. Those of you who come regularly know that this is true. As for the higher services, that happens in there as well, where we support each other, but it happens more commonly, more regularly in our personal lives, with the people that we know, our neighbors, our friends, our family, our support groups. I think AA is one of the greatest examples of this. Who knows a drunk better than a drunk? A recovering drunk is the guy, the woman, to help those who are alcoholics. That's the way it works. Those with cancer, those recovered from cancer, those in the midst of their cancer understand it best. Moving from shame and hiding to becoming a wounded healer is how we use our wounds for the betterment of all, for the healing of ourselves, and for the healing of others. And I hope that helps some. That's from Henri Nouwen with my thoughts on it. When I read that book, The Wounded Healer, I came to understand the power of that. It's powerful when we help others. It is. Especially when we completely understand it because of our own pain. So rather than hiding it, live through it with those who need your help. I hope that helps. All right, my friends, who's here this morning? I'd say hi to Judith. Good morning, Catherine. Hi, Susie. Hi, Emma from New Zealand. Oh, my. New Zealand. I have a friend in New Zealand, a couple of friends in New Zealand right now, and they are loving it. Such a beautiful place. Wow, cool. All right, so we have plenty of time this morning. I'm going to turn on my alarm here. And I keep trying to turn that crazy timer down so that it's not so loud. I don't know why it always is so loud. And this is the sound. Let's see if you... That's the one I'm going to try using today. Okay, so set that up. I'll move it, I don't know, underneath something so it's not so loud. I'll put it on my chair here. All right, I can muffle the sound a little bit. Hi, Suzanne. Good morning. All right. Robert says emotions are frequencies that are infectious. Yeah, they are. They're definitely, especially for people who are empathetic. This is as real as the solid place we reside today. I'm into that. Okay. My feet are flat on the floor. If you're just joining us here and you haven't meditated before, the basic form that I practice, and I still do, is centering prayer out of the Trappist monastery in St. Joseph's Abbey in Massachusetts. Bonjour, Pierre. Anyway, so I got distracted by seeing Pierre. Hi, Pierre. So basically, it's following your breath into your belly and riding your breath back out and using a word or a chant or an image in your mind to direct and focus your mind so that every time your mind wanders off, it's you have a tool to bring yourself back to your breath. Because breath is the basis of all of this. So we're trying to focus our minds on our breath, which has a lot of benefits for us, as people in our community know. Meditation over a long period of time changes your mind, literally changes the structure of your brain, and gives you more or less superpowers for focus. So, my hands are on my lap this morning. I'm going to move my mic away in a moment so you don't have to listen to me breathe. I use pranayama breath a lot, and I don't think you need to hear that. At least people tell me you shouldn't. All right, so my feet are flat on the floor. My eyes are closed. Exhaling, relaxing all the muscles in my body. Inhaling. Do a little oming this morning. Feel it in your chest and your throat. Relax into it. Full belly. On your own. Peace and love, everyone. Thanks for your support.